Welcome to the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we explore the essence of culture, our experiences, and a healing journey that shapes our growth in family. Through heartfelt stories about marriage, mental health, relationships, and parenting, we create a space where you can find connection, understanding, and inspiration. Join us as we explore the rhythms of life, one story at a time.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we explore the rhythms of life, one story at a time. It's your boy, Vlad the Bull, your number one embrace coach, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, the one and only
Angie, la cyber mommy.
We are in the building. Let's go. Angie, it is beautiful, bright, and not so mightily hot outside. So
it's
tell me
kind of
what's up with
chilly
you.
today. We got on our hoodies, our
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I
sweatshirts.
had to turn off the central air today because I didn't have time
It's
to be
off?
shivering. It's off.
It
But
still feels nice.
because it stays chilly
It's
in here. These
beautiful.
walls
It's
hold.
beautiful. It's
you know?
beautiful out.
So
The
tell me.
bugs are dying. Fall is coming. You
Bugs are
smell it in
dying.
the air. It's crisp.
You ever see Next Friday? When you see Next Friday, right? When Ice Cube goes and visits Rancho Cucamonga, wherever day they lives, he's like, "I taste the air. Yeah, taste it. I taste it good. Yeah."
It's delicious outside today, guys.
It is. It is. yo.
Summer's winding down. We got one more week of camp. Then it's back to school.
Getting
Back
all
to
those
school.
pesky last minute outdoor activities out of the way, cutting your grass. I know we are probably a month away from the last cut of the season, but your boy was up there in the gutters, in the trenches out there.
Oh my God. Remind Wallace about our gutters. I'm like, the fall's coming.
Well, luckily our house not that tall.
No.
So we have gutters all the way at the top. I'm like, I ain't fucking touching that. But I went to the other ones because they were like hanging off and I had to rehammer them in and whatever. It wasn't
Home
as
ownership.
bad. First time when we got here and I cleaned the gutters out, Angie, they were up to the top. It looked like a terrarium out there. There were ants all over
People
the place.
forget to clean their gutters.
It's not good for your house. And we don't have vinyl siding. So, you got to get up there. This is a reminder to everybody in there. You own a house. Get your hand in the gutter. Stop being
And another
weird about
reminder.
it.
Subscribe.
Right there. Right there. We don't even got to look at it. It's going to be on the screen. Subscribe. Make sure you smash this like button so that you get our content out to those who need to see it. All right. Reviewing last week real quick. Had a phenomenal episode about green flags. We had banderas rojas. Now we have banderas verdes. So make sure you check that out if you're looking for the top 10 reasons why you should marry that one. All right, check that out. But today we are talking about something completely different.
Yes.
We have an esteemed guest. I can't wait to get sis up in here.
And I
So why
am
don't you
so
tell us a little bit
excited.
more?
Yes. So our guest is the founder, owner, best person for HomeTRYB, which is a new app that she'll be talking about.
Whoop, whoop.
But this is Chantell Ford, my little sorority sister, fellow Floridian.
What's up, Chantell? Welcome.
Chantell.
Welcome to the Roots of Rhythm podcast, girl.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And like Angie said, I am the CEO and founder of HomeTRYB. We are a parent platform that helps parents organize their support system so that they can easily get the help that they need during every phase of parenthood. And I'm sure y'all remember those trenches when you were in them. I am currently still in them. So yeah,
Same.
yeah.
I don't think you're out of the trenches until they out of you.
Well, no,
Honestly, probably never, because I know my mom is still in the trenches and I'm 35. So
Right. Say it. Once you're a parent, you're always a parent. But but I know what you're talking about. Those early days, sleepless nights, so isolating, right? So
no, I think this is going to be a great resource, Chantell. So yes, thank you for being here today. And giving us a little snippet of what HomeTRYB is. So you said you created HomeTRYB because you saw a need. So what was the moment that made you realize that parents weren't just looking for resources, they were looking for long-term support?
really, it was when I went through my birthing process. When I had my first child, postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and on top of that, it was COVID. So along with that, I was very isolated to myself, and I didn't realize it until I was out of it. Once I started seeing my friends having kids and I started to recognize, oh, this is not just something I went through. This is something that a lot of people tend to go through. And it kind of made a switch in me that made me say, okay, I don't want anybody else to feel like I felt during that time. So let me reach out. Let me see if I can help them with anything. Let me see if they're really okay. Let me send them a meal or something, because I know what it's like to be in those trenches. You might not see that you're struggling in that moment, but any little bit helps during that time. So that's when I realized, yeah, this is something that we as parents need, not just mom, but dad as well.
Mhm. I know that's so true. I know I've shared on the podcast before, especially with my second. With my first, I feel like COVID kind of just blocked everything out. If I did have postpartum depression, I was also depressed about the state of the world.
Right.
I didn't have my family up here because it was COVID. It was
Yeah.
literally just me, Wallace, the baby, and the dog. And
Mm.
all the diaper boxes and all the babies on the diaper boxes were the only kids Alana saw
Yo.
for literally the first 15 months of her life, you know?
Damn.
So I don't know if it was that or not. But with my second, that's when I really knew. And my doctor was even like, hey, I'm going to put you on medication. Like, this is not normal. And it wasn't. And then I know now in the media, it's all like the Lindsay Clancy case that at that time. So that happened January 23. I had Aria January 23, and I was in the NICU for a month with her.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't even look at the case. I was like, I cannot physically understand. I cannot process that right now to like get all involved. But now that it's happening, like the case or whatever, the court case, now it's like, now that I'm getting the facts, right? Now that I can like physically and emotionally deal with it, the village, just everything just failed this poor woman. And it's like the first time I feel like women are on the side of the person that supposedly killed her children, because I have a theory that it was this man's doppelganger wife that looks just like this lady, and her and her psychosis felt like it was her. But that's just me. But I know we're not talking about that right now. But it made me think of that, like, now that, you know, all my feed is Lindsay Clancy. So free Lindsay.
You know, I think maybe it's because it is so unconscionable that a mother would do that to their children. And I think if you're looking at it in black and white, it is atrocious, right? But postpartum psychosis is not something that gets enough attention. And I think we just expect mothers, and I'm gonna speak on behalf of the failed patriarchy, right? I think men expect mothers to carry life and all that comes with it, right? Seeing my wife with the diabetes, with the high blood pressure, sticking her finger every 3 hours or whatever it was. We see that and we almost pedestalize women, right? We look at y'all like you're invincible, but get back to work.
Oh, yeah, she's drowning and you give her a high five. You got it.
Like, you're such a great mom. Like, you know, compliments are nice, right? But it takes more than that to get through, especially as you were saying, Chantell, to get through not only the carrying and the birthing process, but also how do you get back to yourself? So I want to ask you, you created your platform specifically for parents to reconnect to their village. What happened to the village? And what happened to that? Because if you look at times before, women had a lot of support amongst each other. Now, you both mentioned you were mothers in COVID, which was, I don't even want to think about how isolating that can be. But what happened to our village, and how can we rebuild it today?
I think a lot of it is the village is still there in a sense. It's just more spread out if you think about it. I personally think since COVID, we've gone to a place where we just isolate ourselves. We got so used to isolation that we just kind of took it on as a norm, and going back to remote work. Now we're not even in the workforce, like in a workplace anymore. So we've kind of adopted this, okay, stay to myself mentality, and kind of lost that wanting to connect with other people. Or maybe it's just an anxiety thing because we went through so much during COVID. Everything was so scary at that time that maybe now we all just collectively have this anxiety that we are afraid to get over, or we can't get over. So for family specifically, like for instance, my family, a lot. And Angie, your family isn't near you. You still have
Mm-hmm.
some village, but they're just at a distance. And it's kind of
Yep.
hard to reconnect with people when you're so far away, and even trying to find a new village when you're in a new place. You sometimes you just don't know where to go. Some people have their church
Mm-hmm.
family, which is great that they can go. Some people don't have that. And it will take more effort. And I think that's the part, like, we already as parents have so much that we have to take on, to then have to go and now find and put in effort to find other people to be in your village is just another mental load that you're just like, okay, I'll just stick it out with what I have. So I think that's kind of what's happening there with that village and how to rebuild. We just have to we have to see the benefit of building that village, by going out and putting that effort up front to find the
Mm-hmm.
people who we want to be in that village in order to help us like ease that stress long term. But it's that upfront engagement that we're like,
Yeah,
okay.
that work. Yeah, and being a villager, because again, I always say it's hard when you go to a new place because you're starting from scratch, right? If
Mhm.
I was near my family, I wouldn't even have to ask because again, they know me. We've put in that work since birth to kind of be vulnerable and do life. So I wouldn't even have to ask. They just know this is happening. I'm going over there,
Mm.
whatever. But when you're building, you have to be vulnerable and ask,
Yeah.
or you know what I'm saying. So it's like you're putting yourself out there, and that's always scary because what if you get rejected? Everyone's afraid of rejection,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
so it's like you have to be vulnerable, and that's scary. So it's scary to build your village from scratch, but it's so necessary. But I'm always a proponent of doing that because I don't want and I know that I struggle with like abandonment. So I'm always like, oh, if I do this, they're gonna leave me, or I'm gonna be too weird, and oh, then they're gonna not want to be my friend. But it's like you just have to be yourself, and you're gonna find your people,
Yeah.
especially when you are yourself. So that's my suggestion. Be yourself. You will find your people, find your village, especially if you are somewhere with no family.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about being vulnerable on top of being in a vulnerable position, like
Mm-hmm.
having to be vulnerable as a parent. I mean, there are no invincibilities when you have a newborn at your house. Like you are kryptonite surrounded, yo. Like
Yeah.
it is wild, Chantell. And here's the thing. Luckily for us, when our son was born, we were in Lowell. I think you guys came to visit
Mm-hmm.
us for the first time. And there's a whole backstory as to how we became super good friends, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into that later. But when you guys came and visited us with the girls, it was like, okay, like because nobody else in my family has kids my age,
You don't.
our son's age.
And then I remember you guys were like, "Oh, we have to get the house in order." And then it's
Oh,
like, I'm literally the most chill person. If you lived in a cave, I'd be like, "Bro, this is a cool ass cave."
yeah,
Like, who cares?
pass me some of that scum over there.
Right? Come on. Or you know me. I've come here before, and this was already when we were comfortable. But even if we weren't, like, I come here and I see dishes and I just wash them.
Yeah, one time I came in, Chantel, and I see Angie just, I don't even know what we were talking about. I'm like, yeah, what you
But
doing?
that's how I was raised. So talking about village and villagers, my
Mm.
mom, anywhere that she goes, she's always told us, you have to leave places better than you found them. So it's
Amen.
like if there's a reason why your dishes are still there from this morning, I ain't doing shit. I'll just wash them.
Mhm.
Oh, your kids here and you're, having a hard time with them. I'm gonna go clean up the living room because why am I gonna sit here and see you struggle
It's true.
if
And
I love you as a person? So I think that's also like you have to do in order to receive. And people have done that for me too. And I think it's because they know that that's the way that I am.
mm, well,
So
that's why we moved out here,
mm,
Chantel. I
she
didn't
did.
tell you this.
They
Like
did.
when we were looking for houses, first one, when we lived in a town, a little city called Lowell,
Mhm.
Massachusetts, and Lowell's
It's
not.
like 45 minutes from here where we're at. Mhm.
And ironically, you and Wallace used to live in Lowell.
We used to live in Lowell. We bought our house further away because we could afford it where we are now.
Mhm.
But we were still going to church in Lowell. So we were still
Y'all
going.
came after church.
Yeah, we came to
That's
your
what it
house
was.
after church because we were like,
Yeah.
oh, you live right there. We go to church in Lowell. Let's
Mhm.
go. But it got so hard with the kids to keep making the 45-minute drive. So I was like, we have to find a church closer to our house. Again, that vulnerability of leaving what you're comfortable with because
Yeah.
that church family that you talked about, Chantell, that was the church in Lowell that got me through being pregnant with Alana, um, having her,
Mhm.
COVID, all the things. So I felt like I couldn't leave that. Like that was it for me, you know? But then we moved out here and then we visited Vlad. We're like, yeah, we're not gonna come to Lowell anymore because we're leaving the church. We're finding a new church, blah, blah, blah. So then they were looking for a house and keep talking.
Yeah, well, we were looking for a house, Chantell, and our realtor, shout out to France and my own realtor, they were like, yo, you should start looking now, because we had this crazy notion that we would stay there because we lived in Salem, you know, the city of the witches. And at least that's what my mom said. Mom, you gonna do Salem? Are you crazy?
The witchcraft. You hate Jesus.
Vladimir, you can't go there. Jay-Z or no. I'm like, all right. We don't need to get in the whole prayer, Mom. So we had a condo in there. We sold it, and we bought a 2-family, lived on one side, house hacked as you call it, and rented the other side. And we were like, we're just gonna stay put here until Lito's 5 years old, when he's ready for grade school. I don't know why the hell we thought we were gonna do that and expect to buy a house at the same price point than when we bought that house. And so my realtor's like, yo, man, you might as well just jump on it while it's hot. So we were looking all over the place, but mostly in central Mass, because anything closer to the capital, man, it's just impossible to live around
it's
here.
expensive.
So we knew that you guys were in Fitchburg or wherever, or that area, and we were looking for areas around that, because like that's where our tribe is. On top of that, our other friends who were within the ecosphere of the Roots and Rhythm hearts, right, of this parents' village, right, Chantell? They also live in an adjacent, like they live, I think, a town over in this way. Y'all live a town over that way. So it just made sense.
We're all 20 minutes. It's like the same little 20-minute rotary of houses. And it's all of us. It's literally like 6 families, Chantell. And and then all the kids are growing up like cousins, because we have a lot of people that have like one kid, so then the kid needs friends, and then so
which reminds me, Lito he was telling Jules that he built a tall tower today, and he said if Aria destroys it, he's gonna be really upset. I'm like, where's Aria?
He been thinking about my baby.
It's a love story, man.
It is. It is. But yeah, it's just, and I love it. See, but this is what we've created. We've been here 10 years in this area, and it's like we've known everyone before kids, after kids, and it's just, and we have to be vulnerable. It didn't just start. Literally, we've been up until 3 a.m. talking our hopes and dreams and fears and greatest everything, which is why all this came
this is
to
how
fruition.
we birthed the podcast, yo.
And I think one thing y'all pointed out is that, well, not necessarily pointed out, but what I've noticed is you two complement each other, and I'm sure your spouses as well. Like your type of relationship complements each other, and I think that's what people have to seek out, because I know we can kind of feel like we have to perform or be a certain type of way. Like we can't really be ourselves when we're looking for play date partners and talking to other parents. And I think it's very important to be yourself so that you find people who match your vibe, and so that it is natural and it is like you do want to hang out with them, and it's not forced. You're not just hanging out because your kids like each other. You're hanging out because you like each other as parents. You can become friends, and that's how you build trust, because otherwise if you're just performing to be a certain type of way or seem a certain type of way, you're not really getting to know the person, the real person. And then there's no trust being formed, and you can't really have people in your village who you don't trust. That trust needs to be there. And so I really appreciate hearing that Angie came over and was washing dishes and helping out, because that's what people need in those times. So it's not just people coming over judging you like, oh, you got dirty dishes, like you have like, there's a lot of people who do that, and they just, if you have people like that and you don't want people like that in your village, it's okay to say we're not taking visitors right now. So it's okay to say that.
That was so polite.
That was,
and I'm never inviting you over again.
Now, actually, I have to ask Chantell, in your pursuit of a village, right? You and your husband, did you have that experience where you try to welcome somebody in and they come in all funky,
like you felt judged?
Yeah, and you're like,
yes, I did. So Yes, I have experienced, and it's funny because it wasn't, they didn't say it directly to me. It was more so of a talking about me to other people that ended up getting back to me, and it's just like, okay, but I could
Mm.
tell that they felt some type of way just by the vibe they were giving. And so, and it's kind of hard when they're actually blood relatives, and it's kind of like
Oh,
you feel like it's required in a sense,
yes.
come over and see the baby or hang out. But then I got to a point where I was like, no, I don't have to do that. Like if it's interrupting my peace or disturbing my
Mhm,
peace, I can say no. I can say not at this time. We're not doing this. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you here. I'll
mhm.
that way I can control how long I'm there, how, and if it starts getting a little funky, I can say, all right, well we're gonna head out. Because when somebody's at your house, it's kind of, it can be awkward to say, all right, now you need to leave. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I have experienced that, and I'm just like, and I understand it comes from a place where sometimes people are just miserable with themselves, and
Mm,
that is okay. We go
that's
through that
it.
phase. I've been through that phase myself, so I'm not even gonna put
Mhm,
that just on other people. But it's just really wanting to do the work yourself and realize, okay, what am I unhappy with that's making me spew out these hateful things at times. So,
mhm.
but yeah.
There's a follow up question I want to ask you, sis, in talking about that, like how you got to the point where you realize, okay, maybe it's time for us to go. Maybe we won't invite you next time. What did the first time that you did that? What did that process teach you about yourself? Like, what did you learn?
I learned that I can stand up for myself. I have struggled with that a lot in my life. And it wasn't until after I had my first child, and I went through that depression, and I went through that anxiety, that postpartum anxiety, that I had to really take a look at myself and see, like, okay, what is the problem? What is happening? Why do I continue to feel like this over and over and over again? Because this isn't the first time in my life. And so once I was able to be completely honest with myself, and I started meditating, and I started journaling, and I was being
That's
completely honest.
that's
Yep.
journal.
Yes, and I was completely honest with myself. I was able to then reassess what my triggers were and what issues I had, because it's not always everybody else. It's sometimes it's me, and I understand that. And so when I got to that point of realizing, okay, what it is that I want and what I can do, and that I do have the confidence to speak up for myself now, it made it a lot easier to just say, okay, I'm gonna set some boundaries, because before I did not have boundaries. Before I had my
Yeah.
son, I didn't. Parenthood will teach you boundaries real quick. So yeah,
Yo,
You turn into a new creation after you have
you
yeah,
do.
children.
You do. It's funny how. Well, thank you first of all for sharing that, Chantel. And what it reminds me is how amazing it is, the transformation that should or could happen when you become a parent. Doesn't happen for everybody,
Right.
but for those of us who are committed, those of us who are somewhat aware, even in the midst of depression and all that, is just how much you're willing to advocate for yourself when somebody
Mhm,
else depends on you.
mhm,
And so for me, very similar story. When our son was born, you think it's the people that you don't really know that well, or people that are external to you that turn on you, but it's really the people that are closest to you.
To be your mama.
It was my mom,
yes,
Mhm.
right? Both of my parents went bad on me. I'm like, yo, why y'all? And I think a lot of what was happening was my son being born brought up, just revived all the undealt with stuff that were between my parents. They've been separated since I was 10. So we're talking about like 21 years
Mhm.
of just junk.
And it was the first grandchild, so this is the first time they've experienced that too.
Right,
Mhm.
right. So
mm,
I was like, yo, I am not having it. And it's tough. It's
Yeah.
really hard to have to set that boundary with somebody that you depend on emotionally.
Mhm.
But it, like you said, it teaches you so much about what you can do for yourself and what you should do for
Mhm.
yourself. And I'm so happy that you came to that conclusion, because some people never do, and it
Yep.
ends up sabotaging not only their parenthood but their marriages as well. So
Mhm.
kudos to you, sis.
thank you so.
And don't let nobody take that away from you, because everybody's got an opinion, but
Yep.
not all of them matter.
Yeah, and also to the marriage piece, like how did you and Wes navigate that together? Was his family on the same boat, or how was that?
So to be honest, we're still navigating it. So because I have my son is 6, my daughter is 2, and it's a never ending journey. But we're getting closer to, well, we've gotten closer to the root of the issues.
Mhm.
Because we were parenting fine, and our marriage was fine, but it was like a, you know how like you kind of going on you're on autopilot, so to speak. So it's
Yes,
like,
your roommates.
yeah, basically.
Mhm.
And so, but it wasn't
Mhm.
like a room. It was weird because it wasn't detrimental, but it also wasn't growth. So it was like a
Yeah.
that in between. And so we kind of realized like, oh no, we need to make time for ourselves. And having that village actually helped because before, if you don't know, we sold our house in Georgia and moved down to Florida into my parents' house because we realized like we were at a breaking point where it was just we were isolated, we were alone, we didn't have anybody, hadn't had a date night in I don't know how long, 4 or 5 years, and so it was like it got to a point where okay, every day, and we were homeschooling, and we both work from home, so we imagine we're both home all the time, 24/7 since COVID, with a
Uh,
child, homeschooling all day, no breaks. Nobody coming to take over, nobody coming to babysit, nothing. And so
my,
at some point, even the best marriages, I don't know how they gonna go through it. So we
Mhm.
decided, okay, we needed a change. We sold our house. Went all in on Tribe. We built it, and so, and then while we were here, we had the relief from my parents. Since we live with them, we can put our kids to bed. Our family is here. We can go out. We can go on a date. We
Mhm.
can go to the store. Just a simple store run, like things like that, definitely make a difference. You think it's
Mhm.
a small thing, but just being able to just get away, like yes, your kids are asleep and you can be in the house in the room by yourself, but being able to like get away and be fully released and relaxed is a completely different ball game. And so that really
Yes.
helped us reconnect and really get back to who we are as individuals and as a married couple, because we're not just mom, we're not just dad, we are
Mhm.
Chantell, we are Wesley, we are married. So
Mhm.
it kind of got lost in all of that when we had our kids. So yeah.
can I ask a controversial question?
Oh.
This is going to be controversial because this is roots and rhythm. You said it was nice that you were able to put your kids to bed, you and your husband, and then go out while you were with your
Mhm.
parents, right? How important is it to have your children to be able to sleep through the night?
Very.
We had this talk last episode. People that's kids aren't on a sleep schedule routine
Girl,
live a totally different life than ours that go to bed.
They on
I
hard
don't
mode.
see how they do.
It's tough.
Let me tell you something else that might be controversial. My kids go to bed at 6:30. And every time I tell somebody that, they look at me like I'm crazy. But what they don't see is my son wakes up at 5 a.m. every morning. And he is so full of energy from the time he wakes up until it's time to go to bed that he needs to go to sleep at 6:30. I need a break. Like mental, and he will talk your ear off, which I love about him. However, when you're a parent that is also dealing with other stuff, you get
Mhm.
overstimulated, and it's just like, okay, I can sit here and have a conversation with you for 30 minutes. After that, my brain is about to explode. So it definitely is needed for them to sleep through the night.
I
Like
love that.
my
6:30. I
daughter
love
goes to
it.
bed right with him. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
everybody going to bed at 6:30. She'll sit in there and talk to
Mhm.
herself for about an hour, and then she go to sleep. So
Yeah, that I get
Man,
the
our
girls
son
at
does
my
the
face.
same
Mhm.
thing. He goes to bed at 8. We start the process at 7:30, and sometimes like last night, it's like every night. I don't want to go to bed. I'm like, right,
You just gotta get
everybody.
out my face. Yeah, the girls go in their room, they share a room, and if y'all want to play, sing to each other, tell stories, tales, tall tales, as long as you're out of my face and in your
right,
room,
as long as you
goodbye.
There be times that we put him to bed an hour ago, and Julie and I'll be sitting downstairs watching TV, and you hear, I'm like, huh? Like, this Negro's still awake. Like,
talking to himself, and
but
that's
he'll go to
okay.
sleep.
Yeah, he'll exactly. They'll eventually go to sleep. They'll sing a song, and then sometimes Arya just wants Alana to pat her back.
Oh.
And I'm glad they have each other because it couldn't be me. So
It could be me, never me. I think that's dope though, and the reason why I asked that, Chantell, is because the other day I was online and I saw, there's a body of people who suggest that sleep training or putting the kids or not co-sleeping with your
bed
kids,
sharing is what they want to do.
bed sharing.
Hmm.
They think that not doing so or electing not to do so is detrimental, that you're depriving the
Yeah,
child,
their
that it's gonna create.
attachment style and blah blah.
There's some prominent woman who's I think she's a child psychologist or something. She's gone. You've probably seen her. She looked like the mother from Home Alone.
I don't
God
know,
rest her
but I
soul.
don't trust none of them people that say that. Let me tell
But
you why.
mm-mm.
Because my kids go to bed and they've been going to bed at 7 since they were it's like 6 months. You know, you put them on a thing on a schedule, and they're still attached to me if they're home all day.
Yeah.
So it's obviously the love is there. The
Yeah.
love is there, and I don't believe that you're not attached. There's no attachment style if you don't co-sleep.
I don't believe
I
that
didn't get
either.
married to co-sleep. I got married to be with my mans.
Right.
And I don't share the bed with no women's girls. Chicas, go to your own room,
Yeah, it's like
chicas.
how are you supposed to show up as your best self if you're never sleeping? How are you supposed to feel great about parenthood if you don't feel great in the marriage? Like, how are you supposed to do it? And so what happens was the parents before us, the boomers, were like, well, we just get married because that's what God told us to do. We can be fruitful, multiply because that's what we're supposed to do. And I wasn't supposed to love you through it. I'm referencing Fences there. You ever see Fences? Like, who said loving you was in the deal? It's like, whoa. Time out.
Yeah.
Time out. This is how you raise children with insecure attachment styles. You say some shit like that. So there's a way to have it all, and it doesn't require one party suffering, bro. Like, we can be full parents and full adults, full human beings, all the while prioritizing both of our needs. You can get it done, but Key, you and Wes, is that your husband's name?
Yeah.
Wesley.
You guys are on the same page.
Mm.
If y'all aren't on the same page, forget about the same book. Y'all in a different book of life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's facts.
That was one of my
Um,
key things. No co-sleeping. I was from the get go. No co-sleeping at all. Period. I need my own space. We're not doing this. Nope.
No.
They've always been in a bassinet. They've always been in a bassinet or in their crib. They not sleeping. The only time they sleep with me is if they're sick, and that's
Yes, facts.
and that's
And
it.
then nobody sleeps because you kicking me in the ribs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, that was my mom when I told her we were in Costa Rica. What? Vladimir, your baby is under your TT. That's where he sleeps. I'm like, under mine?
Yeah.
Like,
But you know
how
what's
you gonna do
funny? When the girls are sick, that is where they want to be. Nestled in your underpit crevice.
Getting
And I'm
used
like,
to
I
it.
can't sleep like that. I don't even like Wallace to be that near me when I'm gonna go to bed. If it's bedtime, please don't touch me. I'm going to bed.
I sweat in my sleep, bro. I sweat blood in my sleep. So not really, but I could not do that. So we on the same page, Chantell. We are no co-sleeping family unless it's absolutely necessary. And it's love. When you got your little man comes in there, Lito comes in there, he wants to be in bed with mom and dad, but that like never happens because he's got all his toys, all his friends, all his stories. He's got a very creative, imaginative mind.
Yes.
Let the boy be himself, man. Because yes. Okay. All right, we good. We on that. All
nice. Right. So question, Chantell.
Yes.
Social media has created parenting communities, which are all great, but it's also fueled comparison. So you see people on social media, you're like, oh, my kid should be doing that, or they shouldn't be doing this, and they're allowed to do that at my house. How do we know when a community is helping us grow versus making us feel like we're not enough?
Ooh, yeah, I like that question.
I think the key thing to understand is what are their intentions. So if everything that they're saying is oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, where are you helping me in this scenario? So the only advice I get from someone is if one, I'm seeking it and I'm asking. If I'm not asking for your advice, I don't care what you have to say. I'm just expressing myself. And two, if they are coming with solutions. Because if all you're doing is saying you shouldn't do that and why are you doing this, how is that helpful? at all. If you
Mhm.
really feel like I shouldn't be doing something, well, offer me a solution. Have you thought about doing this? Oh, I've heard that this is not healthy for kids. Have you considered doing this? There's ways to express that you don't think that someone should do something, as long as you're providing some helpful solutions along with it. Just giving your opinion and saying, well, you shouldn't do that, doesn't really do anything for anybody. Not you, not
Mhm.
me. So if we're going to rely on social media communities, we need to make sure that we only take in information that has a good intention, which generally comes with some kind of advice or helpful information, not just an opinion that they don't think
Mhm.
you should be doing something. So, yeah.
That's interesting. So, with the proliferation of social media, it almost embeds itself in every aspect of our society. Do you feel like it's doing greater harm or greater good for the parenting community? Because there's just so much information out there, and everybody's a creator, and everybody's got an opinion.
And it's divided because for the same number of people that say you should co-sleep, it's the same number saying that's the worst thing you could do in your life. Sleep train, sleep train.
Mhm.
Oh, gentle parent. Oh, you should not gentle parent. That's just you're allowing your kids to free range.
Everybody's fighting, bro. Like,
Everybody's
how
fighting.
am I? Oh, where do I fit in? Where am I supposed to fight? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I think
what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's kind of both sides to me. It can be harmful if you allow yourself to go down the rabbit hole of the negative comments. I found my first pregnancy, I was on those parenting forums, maybe like Baby List or what to expect, those forums where people can just talk. And I realized that a lot of people go on there just to complain about something that's happening in life, and
Mhm.
it can then start snowballing into everyone complaining about something or kind of trauma dumping in that space. And then you're
That's
reading all
real.
of that, taking, not realizing you're taking all of that stuff in, and you're feeling all of those
Mhm.
feelings, and then that can be detrimental. But on the other side, there are areas where you can go to find helpful information. Like, I've gone to find information on what to possibly do when my child is doing this, or what to possibly do when my
Mhm.
child is doing that, and to kind of understand, okay, well, every kid learns at a different pace, or they do things at a different pace. So it just really depends on my intentions on when I go to the internet. Because when I was looking at the negative comments, I was in a negative space. So I was seeking
Mm.
to feel
That's
uh
what pops out at you.
yeah, I was seeking to feel things that, like, I'm not alone. Like, they resonate with me. They are going through something horrible too. So let me keep reading that. And then I realized, no, that's not helping me at all. Like, that is actually putting me deeper into a hole. And I had to change my intentions to be like, okay, if I see a negative spiral, that's something I need to stay away from and only seek helpful information, and also take that with a grain of salt, because not all information on the internet is something you should be taking. I just sometimes reach out to see, okay, are different kids doing different things at this age? So, yeah.
Mhm.
But I
You
would
mentioned
lean towards more so detrimental than positive for the most part. But you got to be, because you have to look more for the positive than the negative. So,
Yeah, and your algorithm will help with that too. Because if you're
yeah,
just
dude.
consuming, to your point, Chantel, all the negative, or you're in a bad headspace, that's all you're gonna see. You're just
mhm.
gonna see all like the negativity and the bad areas of the internet, versus the more helpful, the more uplifting, the more community style advice
Like,
sites and columns. So,
yeah, I mean, whether it's parenting or anything else that you're looking for, I feel like y'all, if you're looking for negativity, you're always going to find it online.
hmm
Because
Amen.
that's where a lot of people go. That's the only place they can really be themselves if they're feeling negative, if they're bubbling with negativity or angst or frustration. Like, they're gonna let it through on a forum,
hmm
and it does take strength
hmm
and some discipline. But I think that every new parent should get the hell off of social media, because you're already up night when your son is first born, your daughter's first born. You're already up like, is it okay to give him a bottle of this at this time?
Yeah.
Right. What happens if your child, like, you're already just, you're fried, you're overstimulated, you're looking for help, and if you're isolated, the internet might be your best friend or your only companion
hmm
for your relationship. But everybody, some people really do have good intentions, Angie, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
A lot of
But
people
it
don't.
brings out the worst in people.
and that's why the village is so important, because I'd rather, and especially when you're in the trenches, and I experienced it with one child and not the other, to have like, come Vlad to my house. The children are driving me crazy. Bring Lido so they could all play.
Yeah, yeah, we done
Versus
that
like
multiple
me
times.
just me just being online. It's like my kids are driving me nuts, and then you see, like, to your point, all the negativity on there. But it's like, go out. We, now that we're
Go
post
out.
COVID, like, go out and be physically with people.
Hmm.
And then you can text a person for their advice because you know that they've gone through it. And that's happened with us. Lido had a sleep regression, and you're like, bro, I don't know what else to do. So we're like, well, this is what we did with Alana, and
Yep.
this helped. And you might have to be in his room for a little bit, but it's not going to last forever. Like, just
Right.
have patience with him. This is his first time being on the planet, which is something Wallace and I, like, that was like our motto. It's like, they're an alien, they've never been on Earth before.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
to help them.
Or even navigating the tantrums. I remember one time, Angie, you were like, he's only been here for like 2 years, right? I said,
Yeah.
true, true. Because when your own needs are not being met,
Mhm.
Chantell, it gets infinitely easier to become isolatory, self-centered, angry, grumpy, whatever.
Mhm.
Like, it's just parenting is hard work.
Mhm.
So I think it's really important for you to have that village built in. Those ways to
Yes.
be like, hey, yo, Vlad, maybe you want to chill the hell out a little bit
Mhm.
because you're dealing with an infant, not a teenager. What's wrong
Mhm.
with you?
No, and then
you
what
know?
is it that they say, Vlad? And again, we had an episode about this. Like, the things that trigger us about our kids are the
Mhm.
things that we weren't able to do when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, he's bouncing off the walls. You weren't allowed to bounce off the wall. You're gonna get smacked off the wall.
Well,
But y'all don't do that.
you said the other day, Angie said the other day, we were talking about I think our kids talking back, something like that. And you were like, your mom is a different person. Our parents are different people with these
Bro,
kids.
yes.
Okay. They're like, don't you talk to the baby like that. You're going to hurt their feelings. That's my
Mhm.
little baby. And you were like, bro, if I did that when I was her
I would
age,
have got smacked
I would have
into
thrown it to the next zip
yesterday.
code.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, there's a difference between like a genuine question or like, whatever she's saying to me versus like disrespect. Like, that's
Right.
not disrespectful. For anything you said after your parents said something was disrespectful.
Right.
You couldn't be a person. You were a child.
Couldn't be a person with an opinion. And even as an adult, you can't have
Facts.
that. So
Right.
so shout out to all the parents that are the boomers
Unlearning.
that are unlearning, the Gen Xers
Mhm.
and the boomers that are willing to unlearn. Y'all are in the minority. But anyway, question for you, Chantell, is we talk about the different needs we have as
Mhm.
parents. What do you feel like is a need that you've seen that parents have that they're too ashamed to bring up to a forum or a group that they out of fear they're gonna be judged or side-eyed?
Um, honestly, the need. I've been doing some street interviews with parents, mostly mothers, a few fathers, and the number one thing that everyone says is someone to come take the child or to give me a break. So to come watch the child so that I can go do something. And I think a lot of times we feel like we can't ask for that because we don't want to inconvenience anyone. We don't want, and like you said, Angie, the rejection. Like, what if they can't that day or whatever? What if it's something I really need, but they can't? This particular person can't. Then also, you don't want to go around asking everybody that you would want to watch your kid because what if one person says yes, two people say yes? Now you don't ask everybody, and you got to wait to hear back from one person. Like, it's just too much. Like, it's just, I do need this break, but now I got to figure out, okay, which person should I ask? Who's more willing to do it?
Chantell,
Let
it seems like you're solving this problem with Tribe.
right. And that's
Right.
exactly, one of the problems I really wanted to solve. It's like, okay, I can put my needs in one place on Tribe, and all the people in my tribe can see what I need. And therefore, the people who want to help or can help with that particular
Mhm.
need, like watching my child for an hour so I can go get a break, can accept that challenge and can actually say, okay, I can help you with this. They'll go in to their own platform, they can click yes, I can help you with this, and then I can either approve it or deny it and say, okay, I want somebody else to help or something like that. But it
Yeah.
just, it puts it all in one place. if they can, they will. And so that
I
kind
love
of
that.
alleviates me having to ask every single person or waiting to hear back from one person, and they
Mhm.
can't do it and I got to reach out to somebody else. And so
I
that
love
was
that.
my
It's
key
the
thing.
it's Yes, it's an organized group chat.
Yeah,
And I
basically.
say that, yeah, I say that because we have our Walking Moms Club group chat, and that literally happened a few months ago. Someone had to put their pet down, and they're like, I don't want my son to be present. Can someone come watch him for a few hours? And literally, I went, we brought dinner, someone else came, brought their kid, like, and then we all just stayed there until they got back from doing a very hard thing.
Mm.
But Tribe would solve that. Like, you don't have to even wait for everyone, or it could be someone else, because again, this is just our small group of walking moms, but you'd add everyone else that you know to
You-
your tribe on the app, and then it's like, and people that you trust would come and watch your kid.
That actually brings me to a question I have about Tribe. Is it I want to say ambidextrous, so to speak, but is it open to parents? Is it just women or mothers,
Caregivers,
caregivers?
everyone.
Like, who's
It's
it open to?
it's all who care for children. So I have we were very intentional with making sure that it's not just for moms, even though moms do take on a brunt of
Hmm.
the work. Fathers also experience things as well. Even if you're not married, there's still, you can do a co-parent. You can even if, let's just
Mm.
say, one of the parents is no longer with us, you can have
Hmm.
a partner that's your parent who is helping you. So
Hmm.
it can be for anyone who is a caregiver for the child, so that they can set up a community, so that when they need something, because it is really just the care, whoever's caring for a child is going to go through it. We know that, whether your mom, dad, grandmother taking care of your grandchild, you're going to go through it. So having people in your corner who can help you when you need something
Hmm.
is key. And it's not just babysitting, it's not just coming to watch the kid. It can be sending you a text saying that you need adult conversation, saying that you need a little pick me up, so that someone can send you your favorite snack, or even
Oh, come mow my grass. Oh, come pump my gas because my husband's traveling.
exactly.
Yo, we had a whole conversation about Angie because we were talking about gas prices, and Angie's like, I don't know what they are. I was like, excuse you. How do you afford not to? I'm like, unless you got a
Because
pot that we don't know
my
about.
man's pumps my gas. I don't pump gas. I only pump gas if Wallace ain't home.
So then I asked Angie, I'm like, so what do you do when Wallace is not here? And she's like, I wait for him to come back. And I'm like,
No, I obviously got to do it because I have no choice. But if I had Tribe, I'd literally put that as a task. Now, you said for the kids, Chantel, but would it work for any sort of caregivers? Because my dad has dementia,
Mm.
and my sister and my mom are his primary caregivers. But sometimes they'll put in the puppy care chat like, "Hey, we need some reprieve. Can someone come watch him?" And of course, like another sibling will be like, "Oh, I can go that weekend or whatever." But would it work? I see this being just bigger than parenting. I see it
mm,
as like, especially now that the boomers are getting
Boom.
old and getting up there. They're also we're raising our parents now too. But do you also see that as being part of it? Just any kind of caregiver, pets, elderly, children.
That is something that we could do in the future. Right now,
Hmm.
it is primarily for parents and caregivers of children.
Hmm.
It's I wanted to stay niche and focused on the one thing that
Yes.
I have experience with.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I can see that in the future, but at the current time, it is just for parents and caregivers of children.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, because my dad acts like he's 3 years old. So.
yeah, it's funny. I remember, right, Angie and Chantel, when Lito was first born, we had the really great opportunity to give birth in a hospital with a nursery. And
Hmm.
I remember when they moved us down, we were in there for a week because emergency C-section, all that stuff. And so when we got back down to the floor at the nursery and we were there for a few days, the first night we spent there, they were like, "Yo, do you wanna the nurse, I think she was leaving for the shift. She's like, okay, this is the last chance for you to indicate whether you want to put Lito in the nursery or not." And at first I was like, hell no, I'm his daddy. He's gonna
Hmm.
stay with me, boy. I'm a parent. I've been waiting for this for 9 months. That's mine. I ain't gonna let nobody else raise my child even for a night, man. It's me. And then 5 seconds later, he was in the nursery because I
Yeah.
was like, yo, I'm tired. My wife is going through all these injections and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, bro, even he's not out of the building, but at least we can.
No, he had the baby low jack. He wasn't gonna leave.
Yeah, nah,
Mm-hmm.
man. But that's the other thing too. To your point about why, because we talk about why parents have a difficult time expressing needs, and we tend to forget how loaded parenthood could be,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you had parents that didn't really meet all your needs. Oftentimes, for kids of adult
Yeah.
dysfunctional parents, you want to provide all those needs and more. And even if it comes at the expense of your own mental well-being, your own physical well-being. So you'll do all that
Mm-hmm.
all day, every day, and you will burn yourself dead
Oh
into the
my
ground with
gosh.
all the gargoyle people
And
underneath the earth.
and even when you have like a good example. So I know the problem that I had is I was trying to be my mom.
Mm,
And
mm,
because I feel like my mom is like the perfect embodiment of the perfect TV parent, like mother. Like she was put on this earth to be a mom, bro.
mm.
Like she takes care of everybody with a smile. She'll take care of 18 kids because she just has a system. And I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed with one. Now I'm super overwhelmed with two that I was like, one is overwhelming. That's wild to me. But anyway, so she's like, she does it all. And then that's what I was trying to do. Like I never, like we were talking about, like, oh, people come to your house and it's messy because you have kids. My house was never messy, and there were six of us.
That's wild.
And my mom made us a home cooked meal every day. I didn't have
Every
a
damn
canned
day.
vegetable till I went to college. Like that is the type of woman that she was, you know? And it was
Mm,
just like all these things. I was driving myself crazy trying to be this perfect mother, Susie homemaker, wife, like all the things. And it wasn't until therapy, my therapist was like, you are not your mom. Like
mm,
you are the perfect mom for these kids, and your mom was a perfect mom for you in that moment. And I was like, you're right. Like, what am I trying to do here? And then I remember when Aria was born, I had an emergency C section. And I was like, my mom's going to go to my house. And I came to the hospital not knowing that I was not going to leave. And my
mm.
house is a mess.
Oh
So I
yeah,
was
you're
like,
right. You're
do you
right.
remember that? I was like, my house is a mess. And I was like, oh, and I called Darnell, and
Mm.
then Darnell and our other chapter sorority sisters, they went to my house, they did all the laundry, they cleaned up, and I was like, my mom can't see my house like this.
Oh
But yeah, I was
man.
like, please. I was like, please just go to my house and clean it, please. And they're like, oh, we got you, girl. Because I was like, none of the baby clothes were washed. Like, again, I had thought I had 6 more weeks to figure this stuff out. To the point she was born January 6th. It was a Friday night. And January 7th, I was having Chantell a nesting party. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the ladies at my church, again, shout out Ebenezer Christian Lowell. They were coming over to like cook a whole bunch of meals, clean my house, wash all the baby clothes, like make the nursery nice. Like they were coming over to do all those things at my house. Like they were gonna cook everything, put it in the freezer, like to have
Wow.
everything done. I had an
Jeez.
invitation and everything. Like everybody was coming over the next day, and she literally came in Aria fashion whenever she does whatever she wants when she wants to, the Friday before. So my house was literally a hot mess.
Aria's in your womb like, I want to fight.
I want to fight. I'm getting out of here today. But yeah, so that was like my biggest thing. I was like, my house is a mess and my
Mm.
mom is coming and I'm not the perfect mother. Like everything's a mess. And I have this 3-year-old, she was almost three, a 3-year-old. And yeah, so
Chantell, in the vein of what Andrew just said, when was the point, if it's come,
mhm.
no judgment, obviously, but when was the point where you realized like there are just some things you just need to let go as a
Um,
parent?
that happened shortly after, probably about 2 years after I had my son, when I realized, I don't have to do all of this. Like, I need to do what makes me at peace. If it
Yes.
makes me stressed, let it go. I'm
Mhm.
not doing this anymore. Like I held on to a lot of stress for so long, which is why I think I went through such a deep depression and anxiety after having my son, that I was like, okay, when I started meditating and journaling, I realized I recognized what my equilibrium was, and then if it caused me to tense, I let it go. And so it took some time and practice for sure, because sometimes things like kind of sneak up on you with the tension
Oh
and it's
yeah.
not just immediate. And it takes you a minute to realize, oh, okay, yeah, no, I actually don't like how this makes me feel right now. So I'm just gonna stop doing this. Like a lot of things that I was doing with trying to do with my kids, like the homeschooling, for example. We got to a point where our son is very smart. He likes to talk about any and everything. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, for my mental health, I need him to be able to offload this energy elsewhere with other kids his age, because he didn't have anybody his age. So he needs friends his age. And when we were in Georgia, everything was 15-20 minutes away. I'm not driving 15-20 minutes to a park and we get there and there's like no kids or one kid. Like, that makes no sense. So when we moved down here, I knew I wanted to put him into the school that I went to, which is right across the street. And so that helped with my anxiety. Like, I did what I knew I could do that fit with my life. Like, having him go to school in Georgia where he has to get on a bus in kindergarten, I said I couldn't do that. That wasn't me. But I knew if I came home, I can walk him across the street. It takes 2 minutes to get to school. I'm okay with that. And I know the people in this area, in this neighborhood, I'm okay with that. So it's finding what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
That makes me feel so relieved that you had anxiety about him hopping on the bus, because you and I talked about this. And I remember you were talking about Alana going to first grade or kindergarten. And you're like, oh yeah, when she gets on the bus, when Lito gets on the bus, I'm like, what bus?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So I was very anti-bus myself. And it wasn't until we went to like the orientation at the kindergarten. So in our town, Chantell, the whole city goes to the same kindergarten, and it's only kindergarten and pre-K. Only kindergarten and pre-K in the whole building. So I was more comfortable, and then the bus has the GPS, they have the cameras, like I see it all on my phone. So I felt more comfortable because she wasn't going to be a little fish in a big pond. Like, there's no fifth graders pushing her around, or, in my mind, that's what I thought was going to happen. But it was only kindergarten and pre-K on her bus. I see it on my phone where she's at, and then I still had the tile in her backpack just in case.
You said the what?
The tile. I tracked my girl.
Oh.
Yeah, the tile.
Oh,
yeah. So I was like, I feel good. And she was excited to ride the bus. And Wallace was like, why wouldn't she be on the bus? Do you think she's going to act like you acted on the bus? And I was like, you act like I was a bad kid. I was perfectly fine. No, I was a great kid. I'm the eldest daughter. I can't misbehave.
True. Yeah.
You want me to get slapped next week, Vlad?
I got kicked off the bus, but I ain't told nobody I got kicked
you
off
would.
the bus.
You would get kicked off the bus.
Yo, Chantell, I told
Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Yep. As soon as you said that, I already knew. So I'm the eldest daughter, so I already knew you were the youngest.
My brother is 6 years older than me, and there was a point in time where he and I went to the same elementary school, and he was in 8th grade, and I was like in 2nd grade. And so I remember one time I was like, you know what? All these kids have their parents picking them up from school, so I'm just not gonna get on the bus. My parents going to have to pick me up. And my brother came and he dragged me out of class. Like, what the you doing, bro? We got to get home and go miss our only bus.
Because he would be the one to get his ass beat if his little brother isn't on the bus.
That's right.
Yep.
You know how many times I had to be responsible for all these freaking kids? No. No. Yeah, so I was not misbehaving. But Wallace was like, she could get on the bus. And then I was like, you're right. She can. They're all little kids. It's fine. And she loved the bus. But
I don't trust.
I know. But for first grade, she's gonna be a walker. It's right there. I could throw a rock and hit a window at her school. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, Chantell, you did what was right for the capacity that you could do.
Yep.
You didn't have to go to Timbuktu and send them 20 minutes away or whatever. How you were in the boonies of Georgia.
Can we just talk about real quick Georgia to Florida? In my mind, they're like the same thing, even though they're not even named.
They're not. They are not.
She's in South Florida, so it's different. Like North Florida is like Georgia, so I get what you mean. But South Florida, it's its own thing. It might as well be North Florida, one state, South Florida, another state.
Yes.
Because anytime I meet Floridians, but absent you guys, because you guys speak pretty clearly. Anytime I meet Floridians, like especially Black and brown folks. I remember my boy David.
It's because you met them Florida Haitians from Carol City.
Yo, bro, homie comes to his house, right? They're staying at his house. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How's your flight? He's like, so he walked away. He's like, oh, yo, what's my cousin telling you? I'm like, bro, I have no fucking idea. I have no idea what he just said. I was just sitting here nodding my head to be polite. He could have said, hey, yo, bro, you want to go get killed somewhere? I'm like, yeah, sure. What's up? So, anywho, but can you speak to the difference between both of y'all actually?
Mm-hmm.
What it's like to live in Georgia versus Florida versus the Northeast? Like,
Mm.
how is it raising children, and why was that outside of being able to send your child to the same school you went to?
You
Like,
can
what was
go
different?
first, Chantell, because I didn't raise children in Florida. So, but go ahead.
I think it's it just depends on where you are. When we were in Georgia, we were in the outside of the perimeter, like kind of probably about an hour south of Atlanta. And while we were close to maybe like a few grocery stores and fast food places, we were still pretty far from everything. Like I said, a park was 15 minutes away. The library was 15 minutes away. The closest school that I was looking at that he would possibly go to was like a DF school. Like it was just that's what made us decide to homeschool, because we were like, we take education pretty seriously, so we don't want him going in and not getting what he needs. And since we both worked from home, we were like, we can just homeschool at this point,
Anywhere.
because we're willing to do that. Now when it became too much is when we knew that, okay, he needs more and he needs that social interaction, because one thing with homeschooling is they're by themselves. So it took a lot of trying to plan to get him to have interaction with kids, but it wasn't enough because he would maybe at the park for an hour. That's not enough time for a kid who
Yeah.
loves people. And so when it was just too isolating where we were. I'm sure if we were in a city that was walkable in Georgia, it would be a lot different. We would have more opportunities to go different places. But in Florida, we specifically moved to a place that is very not I wouldn't say very walkable, but it is walkable enough to where it's not that far to get anywhere. The park is 2 minutes down the road. We can walk to it. His school is right across the street. We can walk to it. His aftercare is down the street. Again, we can walk to it. So the beach is not too far away. It's 15 minutes. So there's more opportunities. I think because of I'm a person who loves convenience. Because of the convenience, I am more willing to do more things because I know it's not going to take a mental load for me to pack everything in the car to make sure we have everything before we make a trek 20 minutes to go somewhere, and then we get there and there's nobody there. Now we got to find somewhere else to do. Like that in Georgia was too much. It was already a hassle just to even get out the house and to drive somewhere. But here we can be like, okay, well, we're going to just walk down the street. And if we see somebody or we make it to the park, we'll go to the park. So it depends on the type of city you live in. So for sure.
That's the first time I heard anyone describe anywhere in Florida as walkable. Because I went to Florida for like a speaker mastermind, and I had to take a plane to get across the street.
Yeah, but that's because he was like in Central Florida.
Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, Central Florida is.
You need to go to South Florida, Vlad.
Like Miami?
Palm
No.
Beach, Fort Lauderdale, just anywhere that's south of Orlando.
Well, why? What happens if you go north?
I mean, they're still not as walkable as like Boston or like a bigger city, but it's still walkable if you have the right neighborhood. And most neighborhoods have the school in the neighborhood where a lot of kids do walk. And there's parks. There's a lot of parks everywhere.
You can't.
But you can't be in Central Florida. I don't want to say the wastelands, but it's just it's more touristy. It's more touristy, so it's like they want you to drive around and do all that.
I mean, how can you be lonely in a state with crocodiles and
alligators?
Have y'all ever seen any of those?
Yes,
all the time.
In your backyard?
So much
in the canals by every house, pretty much.
You can just be walking to school and say, "Oh, what up, Allie? What up?"
I mean, they don't get that close to people, and then they literally teach you how to zigzag and get away from them. It's part of the school curriculum.
It really
wild.
is.
That is so wild. Imagine going to school. We're going to learn about how not to die in the crocodile's mouth today.
Right. What do you do if there's a tornado or hurricane, and then how to avoid an alligator? Do you have to get under your desk?
People wonder why you spend so much to live in Massachusetts. Damn.
Yeah. And then for me, we didn't rate. Obviously, the girls were both born, one in New Hampshire, one in Massachusetts. So we've been up here in our parenting journey. But I will say that when we bought our house, my mom knew we weren't moving back to Florida, and I wouldn't move back to Florida. The schools up here, even in the worst district, are still better than Florida. and the money goes to schools. Like right now, it's back to school up here, and my sister has like her school wish list, and everybody has their wish list for the teachers, like in every other state. And in Massachusetts, the kids just have to show up to school. The supplies are all given to them by the school. And that was weird to me because I last year I went to like in Florida, and Chantel can attest to this. You go into any Walmart, Target, any store, all the school supplies list are right at the entrance. It's like, oh, your kid is going to blank blank elementary. They're going to first grade. Here's the list of supplies to take to school.
Oh, that must be new because when I was in school, they gave us back to school list that we needed to bring.
Oh, they did?
day
Yeah.
one,
Well, no, there's no list. Your kid just has
Huh.
to show up.
Cool.
And they give them their I mean, they don't take it home. Their laptop, their headphones, and then pencils, pens, markers,
What a trip.
folders. Yeah, everything.
What a trip.
And the teachers don't supply it either. The county supplies it. So teachers aren't out here spending their own money. Now, the teachers do give like a wish list, like for kindergarten, Mrs. Gibbs, the best kindergarten teacher ever, where she was so sweet. She was like, oh, I make the kids a memory book. So if you can, please donate like the lamination sheets so she could like laminate all the paper so it could last.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever you need, I will buy. I was like, my sister's a kindergarten teacher. Like, I'm here. And then Wallace shared something. It's like, if the teacher asks for a fifth of vodka to deal with my kid, I'm going to like whatever you want, teacher, I will supply, you know? But that was like the biggest like culture shock, I guess, for me in the schools and all that. Because again, every store has these lists, and here it's like, just show up. Like, we are here to educate. So
And down here, I realized they also have companies now within the school that allow you to pre-order supplies. And so you can, like, towards the end of the school year, they'll send out this paper that says, make sure you pre-order your supplies for next year. And then they just deliver the supplies directly to the classroom, your next classroom. So I thought, I was like, oh, that was actually a good idea. So yeah.
I want to get back to the village aspect, because that's the essence of where Tribe shines and thrives. When people are looking for that village, right, whether it's within the Tribe ecosystem or otherwise, what are some qualities that you should be looking for as a parent, as a husband, wife, as somebody who's looking for some support? What are some qualities that you look for in that tribe? Like, what we should be looking for?
It's going to vary, especially based off of who you are and what you need at that time. So what you need at the pregnancy stage may be different from what you need when you first have the kid versus 6 months after versus a year versus 4 years. So it just really depends. And what I think you really have to do is find out what you are willing to tolerate during that time. Some people need someone to push them to grow, but some people may not feel like growing in that particular stage. So they just need someone who's going to just show up and just be there. And I think it's important to be honest with yourself about what you need in that moment, and not be afraid to let people who don't match what you need help from afar, because they can still help. But if you know that one particular person, like let's just say your mother-in-law, because people tend to have issues with their mother-in-laws, so let's just say your mother-in-law is causes you stress, but they're the ones who typically want to see the baby every day or come over every day or something like that. It's okay to say, we're not going to do visitors right now. We'll schedule something later, or we'll have something. I just need some time to myself. And don't be afraid to have other people come over, and them seeing that other people came over. It's not about them in that moment. It's about you and what you need. And so it takes a lot to not be afraid of making those decisions. But the sooner you say, okay, this is what I need, and I can't worry about how someone else is going to feel about it, the better off you'll be, because you'll be at peace with yourself and be able to keep your mental health in check. So
that's the biggest piece.
I'm sorry, Chantell, when you were talking about the mother-in-law thing, I thought you were going to say, well, don't be afraid to invite somebody over and let them take your mother-in-law out. I was like, We
Imagine
can't co-sign
you
on
put
that.
in a request like, can someone just hang out with this lady so I don't have to? Thank you.
Listen,
I mean,
can somebody
sometimes you
take?
may need a buffer. I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't feel like you can say no to a mother-in-law or your own mother or somebody like that, ask for a buffer so that someone can come in and keep you company while they go and play with the kid. Because a lot of the times it's like, okay, now I have to entertain this person while they're also here trying to connect with my child. And so that can cause the stress. So there's ways around it, but in
Yeah,
those
and
forums, all I see is people complaining about mother-in-law. So I'm just like, okay.
yeah,
Damn,
I know that is true.
I didn't realize
Thankfully, Wallace's mom is great. She leaves us alone, which I appreciate.
that. All right. So, if for all the parents that are listening, Chantell, and they're thinking to themselves, I don't have anybody.
I don't
All
have
right.
a village.
I don't have a village. I don't have nobody near me. And we need something. We, whomever is in this fight with me, we need extra help. What is one meaningful step, one courageous step that they can take to building that community today?
I would say go out with intentions to meet someone. So if you have kids, go somewhere where other kids of the same age are and take the step to actually reach out to someone who's there, have a conversation with another parent who's there, even if it doesn't turn out to be someone who you will be friends with or have play dates with. Taking that step to actually introduce yourself and have a conversation gets you one step closer to finding someone else to be in your village. It may not be that person, but the next time you go somewhere, you'll talk to somebody else. And eventually you'll find someone who you click with, who you can build that village with. But I also wanted to say, because you said if the village isn't near, your family can be within your village even if they're not near you. And that's one of the things I wanted to do with Tribe, is to allow those people who aren't necessarily in the vicinity, they might be a couple states across seas, they can still help in some ways by offering gifts or um paying for somebody to come and help you watch the kids, things like that. There's multiple ways to help. You don't have to necessarily be in the vicinity to offer help. So because I send my friend money all the time when I think that she needs a break. I'm like, here's some dinner so that you don't have to worry about that tonight. So
No,
I love
that's
that.
true. And I think to your point of just being vulnerable and taking that step to like introduce yourself to someone new, because I feel like that community building piece is just like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it's going to get. So you have to put yourself out there, and you have to, maybe challenge yourself. You know what, when my kids at the library, I'm going to talk to two new people that also have kids, and the conversations might start. You might make a new friend, you might not. That's how tag teams started. So Alana's besties from her first day at daycare. It's Tegan, Alana, and Griffin. Tag team. My sister made that up. So tag team. Their parents, I'm just so grateful that they're cool as shit. Like, cause that's my biggest thing. I'm like, I don't need and again, I don't want to get political, but I don't need no Trump supporter friends. I don't
Why are
want
you
to hang
giving your
out.
babies those vaccines?
Right. I don't want to hang out. So, but I do genuinely love hanging out with Carrie and Aaron. Shout out. We call them IKEA. That's our group. Incredible Carrie, Aaron, and Angie.
Wait, time out.
We have a lot.
These
I love an
nicknames.
acronym. I love an acronym here. We got tag team parents. The dads still have not come up with a cool name.
We have.
But the three of us are IKEA. The incredible Carrie, Aaron, and Angie.
So wait, pause real quick.
Oh,
Chantell,
I have
got some
multiple
issues.
villages. I have multiple
Yo,
villages.
bro, where's our acronym?
We need one. We need to come up with a name. We've been still trying to come up with a name, but people aren't as creative.
Lou,
Vlad.
Tom, the one Lou
We need one. We need one. But this
Damn.
was from daycare. We tried to get Lido in the daycare, but the hours didn't work for y'all. So
ironically, now he's in the daycare with the same exact hours.
And if y'all would have got in when you got in, y'all would have been there this whole time.
Yeah.
It's not too late, but it is. It's kind of like you got 2 years left.
Yeah. nah, we good where we at. But we do need an acronym, and
We do.
that's a good point too.
So yeah, so we get to write that down. That's the goal for. We need an acronym because tag team got some cool acronyms.
Everybody listening to Roots and Rhythm, make sure you hold us accountable because
Yes.
we're all about accountability on this podcast. If by the next time you see our faces, we do not have an acronym, do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do
but
something.
but that's how it started. So I was pregnant with Aria, and Carrie was like, "Hey, just be careful coming in here." When I was pregnant, I slipped and fell on the ice. I'm like, "Oh shit, well, I don't want to do that." And then she sent me meals when I was in the NICU with Aria. Like she sent me a gas card.
Wow.
They'd come over. Yeah. So then the kids started hanging out, and then we started hanging out. Now the dads play golf, and we go out, and so it's beautiful, and I love it. But yeah, you have to put yourself out there and accept. That's the big one too. Accept the help when it's offered. Because I think, not that we think we're too good, but sometimes you're like, oh, well, that's just too much. I don't want to inconvenience. But don't block people's blessings because you think it's too much. Accept it. Be grateful.
I like that. Don't block people's blessings.
Don't block people's blessings. Yeah.
Out of pride. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I also think it's partly because common courtesy. Like, I grew up to not want to inconvenience anybody, and so when people offer them, I think it's just they're just courtesy. It's just a common courtesy, and I don't accept it. And so it's very hard to just say hear what someone is saying and be like, okay, yes, I will take that.
I saw this guy, Chantell, on Instagram. He shared a thing. He's like, ask me twice. I have to say no the first time, but ask me again because then I can accept it.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't unlearn what I've learned my whole life. So if I say, no, that's okay. Offer it again because I will take it the second time.
Yeah, whatever answer you get the first time is like the answering machine. Just call again and I might pick up. Because I might have missed it because I was in the shower.
But it's so true. You feel like you can't because that's not how you grew up. Oh, I definitely can't do that. No, thank you. But no, we need it. And we need to be able to accept the help because you deserve it and you're worthy of it. And I think that's the other thing. You feel like, who am I to receive that? No, you're someone great and you should just accept it.
Amen to that. So, Chantell, you have dropped a lot of great gems on us. So we have one final question for you. As we want to leave an impression on our community here. I want you to imagine your children hopefully 25 years from now. Hopefully 25 years from now. A long, long way from now. Maybe not 25, but adequate time from now. I want you to imagine them raising their own children. What is something, as crazy as that may sound, what is something that you hope they would have learned watching how you intentionally and your husband built your community? And what cycles, if any, do you hope they would have broken?
I truly hope that they can accept help, like we just talked about. I hope that they can be willing to ask for the help that they need without having to first struggle so much on their own before they get to a breaking point to then reach out to ask for help. I hope they can recognize in the moment, okay, this is overstimulating, this is overwhelming. I need help right now, so that they can get that help then and not have to dig themselves out of a negative hole from taking on a lot on their own by themselves. So that's truly, because I want them to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is if they can recognize when they need help and have the courage to ask for that help, and receive that help. So
oh, that's beautiful.
Eloquently put. I like that. I like that. If there's anything I'm taking from this conversation, is that help is not only it shouldn't be seen to parents as an option. It should be seen as required.
Yeah, and that's something you have to earn. Like, we all should be able to get help and not feel guilty.
Right. And I'll tell you, it is infinitely easier to parent and to do this really difficult job with people that you can trust. And I don't know how people do it without a community, but guess what? If you're watching this, you don't have to, because there is a tribe waiting for you.
Coming soon.
So, Chantell, tell the good folks, how can they learn more about you? Where can they find you at? And how can they get in touch with you?
So they can find So they can find us on all social media platforms at HomeTRYB.com. They can visit our website at HomeTRYB, and that's HomeTRYB.com. To learn more about what we offer. We will be launching soon. Right now, they can sign up for the wait list to get first access, early access. So yeah, but they can also reach out to me on any of my social medias. It's my first and last name, Chantell. I think it's Chantell J Ford, on all of my social media. Again, my social media is new because I've been off of it for so long for mental health purposes. So, but yeah, they can reach out to me there as well. And I love helping people. So if anybody has any questions or just need to talk, I'm here. So
Yes, and HomeTRYB on Instagram, which is how I found Chantell's business. HomeTRYB at HomeTRYB on Instagram. It's beautiful. It's very colorful. It's a great logo, great branding. Chantell, y'all did that. I
thank
love it.
you. And shout out to Mara for helping with the social media. And then also
Yes,
Alfred, who's
yes,
helping me on the back end. So appreciate y'all.
love it.
I love it. I love it. You are doing great things. We're doing great things, and I just appreciate seeing people, especially people that look like us,
Mm-hmm.
being willing to not only extend the olive branch but plant an olive tree. And I think that's maybe that's the only way that I can really imagine it is
Mm-hmm.
that you guys, we are the roots and rhythm. Our roots are where we came from. Our rhythm is how we respond to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so glad to be in rhythm with y'all, man. For real, for real.
Yes,
Thank you for stopping
yes.
by.
I know, and it fills my cup because again, especially being so far away from Florida, especially Florida, I don't get to interact a lot with people that knew me before children. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like, oh, that's Angie, Alana's mama. No, I'm just Angie.
Right,
That's
right.
it. It's just me. So yes, thank you, Chantel, for being available and willing to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
And
having me. It was so much fun.
and
Y'all are
creating
a blast.
tribe. Yay, thank you, Chantel.
We try to be a vibe.
Yeah, and
You
then let us know when the launch is because we'd love to have you back. You can talk business and let us know like the
Mhm.
ups, downs, how's it going? What do you need us to do? Hopefully our community will sign up so they're the first people to access
Mhm.
Tribe. So go on the website, sign up for early access. Yeah, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
I'm excited as well. My goal is to just make sure that parents do not have to go through this alone. They can have a mental break at times and they can connect with their communities. So, yeah,
I love
helping
it.
as much
I
as
love it.
possible.
Yes.
Chantel, it has been a blast, my sister. Thank you for blessing the Roots and Rhythm podcast. For those of you watching, make sure you look at the show notes, get in touch with this dynamite sister because she is doing a great thing for the community at large. And make sure that if you want to hear more of these dynamite guest conversations, make sure you hit the subscribe button. More things to announce coming soon, but you know what time it is. It's your boy Vlad the Bull, your number one embrace coach.
And Angie, La Cyber Mommy.
And
Chantell Ford, owner of Tribe.
we are out of here.
Stay rooted.